The first product I went viral with was a mattress, literally zero content creation experience, zero marketing, nothing. I actually joined Affiliate Formula maybe within the first 3 weeks.
How much have you made in profit on your best month?
I'm at, yeah.
Have you ever wondered if it's actually possible to balance a full-time job while doing a side hustle that actually brings in good money, or maybe even replaces it completely? Well, this is Laura. She's originally from my mentorship program, working a full-time job, doing TikTok shop, trying to make it work and actually bring in a little bit of extra cash. And in her first year, she went from making $68 her first month to over $600,000 in sales in just 9 months. So in this video, Laura's going to break down everything that she does to balance her work life with also TikTok shop, and what actions she took to actually increase her income on TikTok shop 10x to doing $10,000 a month in profit, all within her first year. I guess to start, tell us, go back to the beginning. What kind of made you decide to even start TikTok shop?
So I started August 1st of last year, and I had an Instagram account that I was doing Amazon reviews on first. And I started it like June, like right before August. And so I started posting my Amazon reviews on TikTok. I didn't even know what TikTok shop was at the time. Then I started seeing videos on TikTok shop. And then obviously I couldn't get in right away because I didn't have the followers. So I was just posting the Amazon reviews till I got the followers. Then I got in the TikTok shop, I think about a month after I started, and kind of just been doing it ever since. But I really started making the content not really for the money. I know there's a lot of people out there that start doing it for the money, but for me, I work a full-time corporate job from home, so it wasn't really about the money for me. I think it was about I have really suffered from anxiety my whole life, and I felt like it held me back from a lot of things in life. And I used to watch these other like influencer girls and like people posting content, and I always wish I had the courage to do it, but just never did it. And I think one day I was just like, screw it. I'm never going to know if I'm good at this or whatever until I try. And yeah, one day I just wiped my Instagram clean, started fresh one day, posting Amazon reviews. And a month later, I was posting TikTok shop videos and literally zero content creation experience, zero marketing, nothing. So for me, it was more of like a personal thing, like, getting over that anxiety and having the courage to try was like a big thing for me. And I feel like that holds a lot of other people back too, getting comfortable being uncomfortable and putting yourself out there is like the first big step. At least it was for me. So
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, that's like kind of the same thing I was going through too. Like super bad social anxiety, especially on camera. Like I was so bad at it when I was in high school, especially. And I was like, I just think this is a challenge for me too. Like I can see that kind of relation to between you and me in that regard. But um
yeah.
yeah, it's a crazy, like, weird thing to kind of put yourself into it, and, like, you feel really uncomfortable putting yourself on camera, but, it's always you're, like, always happy you did because either, like, you kind of grow out of a fear of it, or you're, like, you make a ton of money and you're like, "I don't even care anymore, like, I'm just gonna post all the day long." Yeah. So
I will say this too. I have a 3-year-old, almost a 3-year-old daughter, and I think I wanted to do this even before she was born, but I think having a daughter, having a child kind of pushed me to try too because I started to think like, okay, she's gonna look up to me one day. Is she gonna say, my mom used to say she always wanted to do this, but anxiety held her back, or is she gonna say, my mom taught me to go after whatever dream you want, make that shit happen no matter what. And I definitely want to be that type of mom. So I really do think that that pushed me too. Um, you know, having her to look up to me and say, "She did that. I could do that too," whatever that may be.
that's awesome. Yeah, it's just a role model. I think that's good. Did you have any expectations going into TikTok Shop? Obviously, you kind of started with that Instagram and then you kind of moved to TikTok Shop. Did you have any kind of big expectations or what did you expect?
I honestly had no clue what I was doing in the beginning. I actually joined Affiliate Formula maybe within the first 3 weeks. I think I saw your videos and I took your course, was the only course I've actually ever taken, and I think that really helped me kind of understand what it was because Instagram's totally different, Amazon, it was just totally different at the time, and so I didn't really know. I think I made the goal in the beginning to make $1,000 a month when I first started. That was kind of where I was at, I'm like, I might be happy with that, but of course, once you start making that, you wanna make more and more, but I kinda got stuck. I don't wanna say stuck, but I was making that literally up until 4 months ago, And, it just shows also how quickly things can change. And I think when I studied viral videos, I studied big creators, and I knew I could do it. It was just a matter of not giving up and keep pushing until I got there. Um, so I didn't really know what to expect in the beginning. But as I got more into it and started seeing other people's success stories, I was like, okay, I could do this. Like you have to you learn new things and implement changes until it works. And I'm the type of person that if I set a goal for myself, like I'm not giving up no matter what. And I think that had a lot to do with me just keep, continuing to keep going and learning new things till I got there. It was like I was not gonna give up. It was either I'm gonna do this at one point or I'm not gonna do it at all. So
That's awesome. That kind of, like, makes me feel like I mean, you and me have a very similar mindset, I feel like, in this. Do you get, like, very obsessive trait when it comes to this kinda stuff, or do you kinda feel like it's a side hobby? Okay.
yeah, I get obsessed. I eat, breathe, and sleep TikTok shop a lot of the time. My husband has to tell me to get off my phone a lot. I really had to start, especially when I, started making more and more money. Of course, it's kind of like a drug at that point. You want to keep doing it, right? And it's like I had to focus on time management, as a mom, as a wife, as a person with a full time job. Like I had to put it on the back burner on days even if I didn't want to, but I had to. And yeah, time management for me is key, to make it all work. So,
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm like, I gotta find time to manage doing that, and obviously my job too. Like you and me have full-time jobs, so yeah, it's definitely a managing thing. But it's crazy how it can be like you were just mentioning, like almost overnight it can happen so quickly. And I think that's the crazy thing about the industry, because compared to like other industries, it's like usually a slow growth thing, or you have to put in a lot of money to like do something like this. Whereas TikTok Shop, like you could kind of like start and then maybe the next day you make a ton of money. Obviously, that's not normal, but, like, it could, which is pretty crazy. Um,
y I think my first few products were things I had already, so it's not like it takes much money to try.
Now another question, do you focus more on videos or do you do mostly live streams?
I do only videos.
Only videos, interesting, okay.
Yeah. So I tried a few live streams in the beginning. I haven't done live stream I did do one live stream maybe a few months ago, but I just don't have the time, and even in the beginning, I tried a few here and there, but they never really did anything, so yeah, I'm just videos now, and I've been like that for, I wanna say, like, 4 months now. No
Wow,
lie.
very interesting. What makes you I guess you said obviously time consumption, right? But other than time, what makes you decide you wanna go into videos over live streams?
I think it was really just, not having a lot of that extra time to do it. I enjoy making the videos. I do batch record all of my content, which I think is a big, big reason why I'm successful at it right now because I have 75 drafts at all times. I film right in the TikTok app, and I got really good at that, and I can spend, 6 hours straight on a Sunday, and I can have videos for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and I just really found, like, my groove in that, and, putting in work that long for 1 day every 2 weeks is worth it for me than sitting on a live stream a few hours a day. I know people kill it with live streams. I just don't have the time during the day to really do it. So,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm kinda the same way too. I'm like, I wanna do live streams because they convert so well, but I'm like, I don't have the time to do that. But videos are like that's the cool thing about videos, it's like they're kind of passive income. You post it and it could make you money forever, right? Um, but there again, it's not immediate and you gotta, like, really get good at, like, all these different aspects, whereas lives, it's a lot more simple, but a lot, like, quicker money. It's like gives and takes, I would say, on both sides, which I definitely see why people do both. Um
yeah.
what product did you go viral with first? And tell us a little bit about that story.
So the first product I went viral with was a mattress, which is actually crazy because, I was a little bit nervous to even post about it because honestly, I just took the free sample because I needed a mattress, and to be totally honest, and didn't think it was really gonna do anything, and it's an expensive item, which people kind of scare you into thinking those won't sell because 'cause they're so expensive, and I was wrong, it sold like crazy. I made money on that product for, like you said, 8 months or more. Unfortunately, they don't sell it anymore on TikTok, but I made money on it for a long time. So yeah, that was the first video, and I think that was, like, 3 months in, maybe, um, and I literally did not go viral again until May of this year. So, I'm like that long without yeah, another viral. So, but yeah, mattress.
What,
Really,
if you're comfortable with sharing, how much do you think that mattress made you?
I would say like 15 grand. That was only for like what, 4 months. Yeah, I would only say 15 grand. But see, you have to think I was only making like maybe less than $2,000 a month for a while. So like mostly a lot of my sales were just that mattress for a long time. So,
Wow.
um,
I mean, I don't think 15 grand is not much. I think 15 grand from one product is pretty crazy.
but that's like over 9 months. So, but yeah, that's I posted multiple videos on the mattress and I had a multiple do well. So it wasn't just one video either. It was probably like 5 videos over time that were all converting for that same product. So we had very close relationship with the seller. They sent me a Christmas gift and everything. So it was, my main product for a while.
Wow. What was it about that specific product or those videos that you posted that ultimately made it go viral so consistently, would you say?
Honestly, I don't know, the mattress was hard for me. I think maybe it just triggered a lot of people that mattresses were really expensive for most people, and this mattress was fairly decently priced, I would say, like 200 bucks, and that's pretty rare for a queen size mattress maybe. Maybe that was the pain point for people. It was really just a good price product, I think, and it was a good product too. Had great reviews and stuff. So I think maybe that was why it did so well. It was good. It was a good product and it was priced well.
Yeah, that makes sense. What would you say is probably the biggest hurdle that you had to go over? Obviously, you said it took you a long time, right? Kinda tell us about that and, like, what these hurdles were that you faced.
So, like I said, I went viral for the first time after about 3 months, and then I was barely cresting $1,000 from 3 months into May of this year. And I think that what changed for me was I got to the point, I think everyone has to get over the hurdle of not blaming the algorithm or everybody else and critiquing your own content. And now when you're willing to critique your own content and go back and look at my content, I'm like, my first 6 months of content was terrible. That's why I wasn't making any sales, right? When I go back and look at my content, I'm like, it's not the algorithm, it's me. Like I have to be better. I have to get better. And I think just being willing to critique your own content, make the changes, implement the changes, try new things until it works. Those are a couple of the things that I think just over time, I had to just shift my mind and do those things. And I think sometimes a lot of people aren't willing to critique their own content. And sometimes you just have to sit back and realize like it's not everyone else or the algorithm, it's you. And you have to just implement the changes till they work. So.
I love the accountability because I think we all get in our heads thinking and wanting to make excuses about different things. I do it all the time too, but, like, I think we have to revert ourselves back to the understanding that, like, it is almost never just the algorithm or whatever it is. It's always gonna end up being us because why would TikTok, like, push us down for no reason? Like, it would just doesn't make sense, and I do see that so many times. I'm like, see people that are, like, saying, I'm making really good content," and maybe it is, "good content" in quotes, but that's the thing is no one knows what good content is. Good content is just what your audience and what your page resonates with, and it's studying your own, like, content and looking at the data involved in your content. Like you were just saying, like, it's not like, looking at all these other creators and seeing what they do, but oftentimes looking at your own videos and seeing, hey, like this video did well or this video didn't do well, and like studying that, like you were just saying. So, um, I love that point. I think that's a huge thing people are kind of misinformed on lately. That I'm glad you kind of touched on. What would you say is your product selection style? Like, what makes you decide to choose a product or not choose a product?
I think that I have to personally want to use the product in my everyday life. I feel like that helps me make videos on it. Um, Pretty much everything that I makes me any type of money these days are something that I use myself or are in my house, and I think that's really important. I think it's easy to take free samples and whatever, but if you are not truly using that or truly believe in that product, I think it shows for a lot of people. And also just from a creation standpoint, it's easier to make content when you're actually using that product. So, obviously I look at things like what's viral. I try not to promote anything that has less than 1,000 sales. That's just something I normally look at. Um, I focus on products that I use, but also, like, might use exposure plus or, like, things like that. So, yeah, I look at those metrics, but I also make sure it would be something I would actually want. Just because it's viral doesn't mean if I don't like it, I'm still not gonna try to promote it because I just feel like it would show. So,
Yeah, that's good. Do you look a lot at, like, I'd say, like, the metrics involved in, like, the reviews and, like, the, um maybe, like, the category, or do you just kind of look at, like, "Hey, I would use this myself," and then that's it? Or, I guess tell us a little bit about, like, the metric side.
yeah, so when I had first did started doing Amazon reviews, I focused on home stuff. So it was like home decor stuff, so I kinda focused on that with my TikTok too. And so, that's my category and everything is home and living, so, like, that was a lot of the stuff that I promoted. I would say, like, 90% is home and living, and then the rest I will just throw in, like, random products that I use. Um, but I think I really started focusing on the products too that could solve a problem, and that, I think, really shifted things for me too. I don't think I was doing that for a long time, and, when I started focusing on the pain point, it was hard for me because 'cause I'm thinking about furniture. I sell a lot of furniture, and that was hard for me to come up with pain points for furniture, and then when I started looking at things like that differently, like, this person wouldn't wanna buy this table because it's pretty, they wanna buy it because it looks just like this designer one that's $2,000 and this one's $200. Like, I started looking at each product differently in that way, and that really shifted everything for me too, I think.
That's a really good point, and I like the kind of problem-solving aspect of things. I obsess over that part because it's like, if you can solve someone's problem in a video and you show them that that problem's being solved, they go, "Wow, like, I want to solve that problem too." And that's just how I am, like, I'm a consumer in that regard too, like, I buy stuff that just solves my problems all the time, and especially if someone can visually show me that, it's like, "Oh, I'm buying it right away." So, I like that, you kinda brought that up, that's smart. Um, I guess last and final question, if you were to give one piece of advice to someone who's just starting or even just you starting over from the beginning, what would that be?
I got a couple of things probably. I would say your mindset is key. Truly believing that you can do something and not giving up until it's done is key to me. Um, like I said, I also go through, also not comparing yourself to other creators. I went through that a lot, like comparing myself to other accounts. Like, why is this person doing so well? And I feel like my content is just as good, but it's not doing well. That's never going to get you anywhere. And I think I started thinking at it as, this is someone I look up to. Here's my content. We're on the same road. They might have had a straight path and I hit 10 stoplights, but I'm still gonna get there no matter what. You know what I'm saying? It just might take me a little longer. And so not comparing yourself to other creators and focusing on your own content and how you can make your content better instead of looking at everyone else's, that would be my biggest advice because I wish I would have done that way sooner than I did. So, yeah.
That's awesome, thank you, and I guess one other question what I would ask is, if you're comfortable with sharing, how much have you made in profit on your best month?
27K.
20. It's just crazy, it's because it's TikTok.
And, like like I said, I really only started really making money in May of this year, so that's how quickly those things changed, for me, at about 1 year of doing it.
Wow. I mean, if you
Yep.
think about it too, that's like, you kinda made what a lot of people make in a yearly salary in 1 month, like,
Yep.
for that year. Like, so if you really think about it, it's, like, kind of on track for, like, a yearly salary too, and for never being in the industry and then starting and doing it's still really good, especially for
Yep.
1 month, that's absolutely insane.
I figured out, like, my total for 2025. Um, if you want me to share that, I think that's I figured it up today, so it's kinda, like, hit me today, like, wow, that is really I literally used to make that in a year myself, but, years ago, and I'm, like, right at 60,000 for 2025 that TikTok has paid me, which is crazy, to think about, so it makes me proud of myself because if I would have never tried, I would have never this would have never happened, so
Well, I'm very happy for you. It's good to see that, like, things are actually working out for you. And now that you're kind of on this wave, it's like surfing, and it's like, how long can you stay on that wave and ride that wave as long as possible before you have to paddle back out through the break and try to get on another wave? Like, paddling back through it, it sucks, but like every creator's got to do it at some point. And right now you're on that wave, so it's like ride that wave as long as you humanly can. That's how I like to think about it.
yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah. Um,
Like we said, good months, bad months, it's a roller coaster, so, like I said earlier, I'm down right now, and I'm obsessing over getting back up, and that's just how my brain works sometimes, so
yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. This has been super fun and valuable, hopefully, for everybody else. So. Now, every single student that we have interviewed has three things in common. They study their content, they study other creators' content, and they keep going even when things get tough. But on top of all of that, they do what Laura did, which is get guidance from people that have had success to figure out what works for them as well. So if you are thinking about taking this seriously as well and you want me to mentor you, I only allow 7 people per week as clients into my program. So if you're even 1% interested in seeing if you qualify, check out the link down below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.